This guy talks about a lot of interesting things. Let's get it.
They don't like us. They hate us. They despise us. Look at these Africans. I told you about these goddamn Africans making fun of our accent. Goddamn these goddamn Africans.
Welcome to the Treasure Show.
I'm not African. All right, you know what? Let's do it. Let's do it. Sin went to Africa and told me people stink. What you said out your mouth. You wouldn't ask.
In a certain area, man.
Whatever. You said they stunk, and you said that the show.
So when I first heard this, I thought it was AI. You know how like some people like use AI and then they put it out there, because this guy was a rapper. He's made a lot of money. So I thought he had traveled the world. He's exposed. But he wasn't really a great rapper, right? He had like a little face. So they've all become podcasters and YouTubers, right, for the most part. But he had like a little stretch, maybe a few years of relevancy. But it's not like, he wasn't like a top known rapper like that. So I can understand when people like that also think like this. Because see, in the Black community, they see rappers the way we see professors in Africa, right? To them, when you ascend to that rap, to the top of the rap chain, you get a lot of respect from people. And by default, in this community, they think that rappers are intelligent people. They put them on the same level as professors, as community leaders, right? Because that is like, for a while, that was the only way they could break out and make money. It wasn't through like a corporate structure where you working your way up to the top of a corporate ladder, become a CEO of a bigger company or Fortune 500 company. That's not what Black America saw as greatness. For them, greatness is when you excel in sports or entertainment, and for entertainment, it was mostly rap. This is why these names became mainstream, but I don't even remember a single song that this motherfucker sang. So I am not surprised as an African listening to this, that he's saying it boldly, and he's not even joking about it. He's just saying it boldly, which reinforces what I've been saying about the education system in the hood versus education system in suburbia. It's two different education levels. In suburbs, the curriculum educates, it teaches you. And then your parents reinforces the education through experiences, homework at home, who you hang out with, who you're around. For the Blacks and other minorities in impoverished neighborhoods, the school system is bad. So all the vices are picked up during school, and there's like a lackadaisical approach to learning. So when these people grow up, they are not intelligent. They just are who they are. All they know is rap, sing some rap music, entertain themselves, spike up the dopamine, and they're done. There's nothing exceptional about these people. And this is why we're seeing this here, right? Like to say that Africans, 1.5 billion people smell, it's like, and there's a story in Kenya today where an actor, a Black American actor from the US, was saying that she went to a village in Kenya and the kids had not seen a mirror before. That's bullshit. She knows it's a lie. But she made up something, and now kids in villages in Kenya are using their mirrors to troll her, and she looks stupid. This is what I'm saying. Like, we need to be very honest about our need to separate ourselves from people that have these ideas. It may sound a bit radical, but yes, we need to be radical. We need to radicalize ourselves to separate ourselves from these people. You have to gatekeep, lock your doors, go live in neighborhoods that are not so close to them. Separate yourself. You can do that in America. White folks been doing it all the time. So you can do it. Congregate in your own neighborhoods or segregate yourself. There should be nothing that should put you into contact with these people. Nothing. What do you need from them? You always itemize this and ask yourself these questions. What do you need from these guys? I don't need anything from them. And if I don't need anything from them, I think you don't need anything from them either. So it makes sense for your sanity, for you not to be hearing things like this, for you to be able to keep and value yourself from their rhetoric, to stay away from hearing even their voices. You stay away from their music, you stay away from their culture, because they're gonna say you're cosplaying anyway. And you try to have very little to no contact. I mean, sometimes you can't help it. If I go to buy something, I just went to buy a mattress, or we had to move my old mattress into our guest room, and then we had to upgrade because every couple 6-7 years you switch out the mattresses because they're really no good. So there was some sales and some deals going on, and we went and bought a mattress. They're not cheap, man. We spent like $7,000 on a mattress. They're not cheap. So the sales guy was a black dude. And yeah, we talked to him like a normal person. He seems like nice. We just had a regular conversation. He helped us because he's working, right? Choose the right mattress. We got the right mattress, got the discounts that he applied. And that's it. So that was an encounter. After that, there is no communication. You've done. It was you patronize the product. He's here in suburbia. So obviously he's well behaved for him to even be living and working around suburbia. You have that transaction. You go. Nothing personal. No, where are you from? What do you do? No, none of that. Just straight to business. Buy your product. Leave. And that is what immigrants should start doing. This thing of being nice and trying to blend in and trying to explain. I mean, some of these people, you need to tell them where your country is located, because the hood curriculum won't tell them that Cameroon is in Africa, right? I mean, they won't tell them that. So why should you spend 10 minutes of your day trying to explain these things, educating people that don't want to educate themselves? You're better off disassociating from them. If it interests them, they will learn. Your job is not to teach them anything. Your job is just to stay the fuck away from them. Because if you don't stay away from them, they will harm you because they're emotional. They are mostly verbally abusive, so they'll abuse you verbally. They'll cause problems if they come around your businesses. They will, steal your stuff if you happen to find yourself in the wrong place. If you're not lucky, you may get shot if you get found in the wrong place where they are congregated. So what is the benefit in you extending your arm? The risk is so far high than you just separating yourself. You separating yourself may not sound good on paper, or may not sound good because it's coming from a commentary that I'm making. But if you think about it and you do the cost-benefit analysis, you're always at an advantage if you don't associate with this community for nothing. Just stay away, man. Like I said, I've done it for 20 years. I've not caused it up to white people or what like they say, right? Because that's the talking narrative. Oh, he's like white. No. I'm anti-you. I'm not pro-white. I'm anti-you. Those are two different things. I'll live amongst Indians. I live closer to Indians more. Most of my neighbors are Indians. Most of North Texas is Indian. So I'd rather live with the Indians who have completely nothing in common, no skin color in common, in exchange for my peace of mind and mutual respect. Because if I walk outside of my house, that man from Mumbai will say hello to me. And they are so educated, because they are the most educated, they will never ask you stupid questions. But notice how many stupid questions these blacks will ask you when you even get closer to them in a nice way. Sometimes it's exhausting. This is why for this diaspora wars to make sense, it's in our best interest to just stay away from them, period. Just stay away. You got nothing to lose, man. I mean, there are a few of them that are cool guys. If you guys have a long history of friendship, or if they're level-headed, they got their shit together, they are organized. You can see it. I mean, these guys you can tell externally by them. You don't even need to know them closer to know. Just by external checks, you can tell if somebody is somebody that should be around you or be in your corner. And once you've come across that person, then yeah, you can have a good individual relationship with that person. But the idea that you're going to champion these black causes, go march when there's some police brutality, when there's Nolan Wells drowning, then you're blaming white people, and then you're joining it, and you're going on podcasts and TikTok panels and screaming in support of these stupid causes. They're being exposed. Everything to them is about race. How does a kid drowning turn into a racial issue? Only these guys can make that into a racial issue. No, normal people don't do that. The kid drowned. It happens all the time. That's why you don't let your child just go off to the beach. My son is a good swimmer. I don't care how old he turns. I'll never let him just walk off to the beach because there's rip currents. And sometimes kids don't know about rip currents. There's sharp attacks. Go to the swimming pool or walk on the shores of the beach and leave it alone. So These people will make everything about race, and they want you to champion their causes. And then some immigrant groups will join it, and they'll be holding signs up thinking that you're working with normal people, but these are abnormal people. They're just complainers. So you're joining them complain, but when things settle down, they turn around and they start hating you. Now they're saying that you smell, right? You know?
When niggas said, everybody put your hands in the air, that the whole fucking shit was funky.
I would say that. You know what? I'm a little bit shocked. I'm a little bit surprised. But at the same time, when I say a little bit, a side of me kind of is used to this. You know, rappers, especially black American rappers, some of them saying some very ignorant things when it comes to Africa. Hey, yo, my rhymes are funkier than an African cab driver. I can't remember who that was, but I know someone that was on Big L's album, the first one. And next guy said, tougher than Nigerian. Nigerian, hair my criteria compares Lil Wayne. Then there's this Ghostface Killer skit from his Supreme Clientele album in the 90s. Yo, check this out, man. So he said Naomi or Tyra Banks, and the guy goes, what, Naomi, the African looking chick? And then the other guy says this. Watch.
Shit, God. Nah, the fucking model, man. Yeah, she look like she African and shit, God. I'm not feeling her and shit, God. She look bugged out.
Yeah. You know, so imagine being a little kid listening to this, right? And they're laughing about, she look African, she look bugged out. He didn't have no explanation as to what distinctive features he didn't like. He just said she's African. And all the guys in that skit got it. They all just laughed. Now, I'm a little African kid listening to that. And these are common things. Anti-African Black Americans and anti-African FBAs have always done this. Do you understand? And then they'll say, oh, we're the ones that were Don't act like the innocent victim here. Been dissing Africans. Been saying nasty things about Africans. And this clip that I just played of Camron saying Africans this and Africans that, would you believe that was posted on Revolt? If you don't know what Revolt is a massive media platform. They have 2.5 million followers on Instagram, and that clip was posted on their Instagram. Not once anyone in their PR team say, this might not be a good idea. They just did it. So I'm just saying right now, that line, that division line, it's not there anymore. It's no hold bars now. That's what it's looking like. It's no hold bars now. All African content creators out there, you better start doing some pushback. You better start giving some pushback, because it's becoming so common and so normal to insult us Africans now.
What have I been saying now for the last 6 months? And I'm glad this man said the same thing, that you all need to fire up your TikToks, speak your rubbish. If you're scared about being fired from work, wear a mask and say whatever the hell you want to say. We'll take it up, send us the videos, we'll react to it, we'll also laugh. Okay? This is what it's supposed to be. And I'm glad this brother in the UK is saying exactly what I've been saying, that there has to be 100 channels that are Nana Kwakus. We need 100 Nana Kwaku channels to saturate this space, because a lot of these guys that are doing this had a head start on YouTube. You know, the O'Shea's are 500,000. It'll take me 3 years, 4 or 5 years, maybe to even get up to that number, right? Unless something viral happens, or maybe the algorithm changes in our favor. It'll take a while for us to have the reach that these O'Shea's are having. I mean, he's struggling now. He's only getting about 50,000 views on average a day. And it's the same 50,000 people that are watching. So he's not reaching new people. I'm reaching more and more new people. Every day I put out a video, I reach more and more people. So I think it's slightly better that at least we are reaching more people and newer people every day and more engaging people. But to get the channel growth to the numbers that these guys have, they didn't start their content doing this to get there. They were doing other content to get there, and they live on the internet. So they've done all kinds of videos, 1,000+ videos to get to these numbers. It's going to take us a lot of years to get up there. But that should not deter you from creating. Just keep creating, keep making these videos, keep putting them up, and use all platforms: Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, all the tools out there, Rumble. You know, we might start a Rumble, because these fools are trying to get my channel deleted and they're trying all kinds of things, which they won't be able to, YouTube is different now. They use Gemini, which is a very powerful AI system that has, the videos have transcripts. So they read the video transcripts and the algorithm or the computer can tell if the video is fair videos. And for the most part, very few of my videos get restricted. Very few. Maybe 1 out of every 100 would face a little bit of restriction, maybe 18 plus. But for the most part, my videos just always gets through. And I also don't get, I know the keyword, the things not to say. So I will still mean the same thing, but I'll say it in a different way. So it's still not a big deal. So I'm aware of it, and this is what I say. If Tariq has a channel on YouTube, I will have a channel on YouTube. It's that simple, right? Why are they trying to take my channel down when it's this small? Why wouldn't they go take Tariq Nash's channel down? Well, that is because this is tribal, okay? And you have to stick with your tribe. And I think eventually we win the race. We win the race because of how organized we are as a group.
Thanks for the tip.
Even though we are from different parts of Africa and the Caribbean, we don't feel superior amongst ourselves. We have a real warm brotherly relationship amongst ourselves. So we can always do things together, right? That is not the case for a lot of these guys.
It's becoming so common. With no apology. It's just normal. It's how it is. Revolt. Google them, revolt, and you'll see why it makes no sense why they would post that. Google them. And no apology. Look, we all make mistakes. If it's something that they can say, hey, look, we could put our hands up, we didn't mean to post it. Nothing, no outrage, no nothing. Also, it's our fault. From our end, we're probably not making a big deal out of it because we're so used to it. Like I said, I just played you that clip from Ghostface Killer back in the days. That's one of many. I'm sure some of you in the comments can leave certain lines from rap songs or certain interludes or certain moments where celebrities have said some stuff about Africans back in the days or even recent, and it's just gone under the bridge. But one black Nigerian actor says one thing about accents. Oh my God. Look at these Africans. I told you about these goddamn Africans making fun of our accent. Goddamn these goddamn Africans. No hold bars, man. No hold bars. I've said it. This isn't to all black Americans. This isn't to all FBAs. There are some who are not anti-African. They get it. They're just trying to carve up their thing. I've said it several times. They're just trying to create their lineage, put a spotlight on their lineage, their contribution to the world and the global stage, and they're trying to be known. This is our ethnic group. Thumbs up to you. I get it 100%. You can't just be lumped together with a whole bunch of other people and called African and that's it. And no one can see your distinct contribution, your distinct abilities and your distinct, nature. Own your positive and own your negatives. Yes, it makes sense. Take it. It makes perfect sense. It's the anti-African ones that I just don't appreciate. And this is not the first time Camron has said something like this. A while back, him and Mace, the former rapper Mace from Bad Boy, they were talking and he said something very similar. This time he wasn't making insults. He was just saying, I'm not no African. He was saying it with a bit of like an aggressive tone, but he wasn't insulting. He was just maybe passionate about expressing how much he believes is American and not African, which is cool. I'm not one of those guys that's forcing people to believe they're African. How can I force you to believe that to be something that you're not? Like, it doesn't make no sense. Do you know what I'm saying? If you've chosen, if you're rational and you're logical enough to know, this is how I define myself, I can't force you not to. I'm not out there forcing trans people to be girls when they're boys. I'm not forcing people to be females when they're males and males to be when they're females. I look at those people and I think, you know what, do you? That's how I look at it. Do you? But there's logic behind this. This is different. This is not like some weird person who doesn't understand their gender. These are people who understand. They've used historical events. They've used logic and ration to explain why they believe they're not African. Good for you. Don't have to be forced to be African. But who's forcing you to insult us? Who's forcing you to say the things that you're saying about Africans?
Exactly. That's what these are same things we've been talking about. You can claim all you want. You can eat your lineage. You can shit your lineage. I don't care about what you think about your lineage. Actually, I try to say you guys are not African because I don't want you, right? I don't want your asses over there. I've been on record for saying that. I don't want you guys going up there and buying property. I don't want you guys going up there and dating. I don't want you guys going there even to visit. I don't want you guys spending any of your money there. Keep it here. Keep it in the hood. I don't want anything to do with you on the African continent. So, But I won't say anything negative about you. I won't talk about your looks. I won't talk about how you smell, because that is not interesting to me. That has nothing to do with me. That is me trying to compare myself to you, or kind of diminish you, or because I'm upset about something, so I just want to say something to you. That is not interesting. If you are really, really focused on your delineation and your separation and the fact that you have no connections to the African continent, just say that and be good. Go with it. What has that got to do with me wearing sandals? What has that got to do with that? Well, I mean, why should the word even Africa be part of your vocabulary? It shouldn't. Why are you not talking about Indians and Chinese people? If you have delineated from Africans and Africa, then you should be talking about Africa the same way you talk about Europe, Latin America, and all other places. Why is your focus still on us? That means you have something that you're struggling with. You need healing. You have some inferiority complexes. You have some mental issues. You were not raised right. You didn't have both parents growing up. Your parents didn't teach you things. You're figuring out the world by yourselves. You're a loner in this world. Everything that is your experience is not guided experience, because most people have guided experience up until maybe they're 18 years old and then they break out. A lot of these guys don't have guided experience. They have to figure out life on their own in a struggle as they grow up. So they are walking around as 40-year-olds with the reasoning of a 15-year-old. Because they sucked in school, they were not the great students, they were all aspiring to be basketball players or football players. They didn't have a lot of drive and motivation for the most part. I'm talking about 80% of this population has sub or abysmal motivation levels to life in general. Okay, so when you have these problems and you overlook that and you're worried about me wearing sandals while I'm chilling in Africa, I'm not talking about you. I don't know you. Most people in Africa don't even know you guys exist. You know, you go in my hometown, a lot of them don't even know you guys exist. So why are you still saying these negative things and insults to Africans? And O'Shea is sitting in Africa repeating these same things. You know, and like I said, his days are numbered in Africa. He knows it. It's coming. If Kenya wouldn't do it, Uganda would do it. You know, unless he goes to South Africa, which I think should be the best place for him. But his days are numbered in Africa. You know, we'll get him out of there either way. Either we take him out spiritually, or we go and physically remove him and send him back home. O'Shea Duke Jackson will leave Africa. Mark my words. He will leave. He will either leave the nice way, or he's going to be visited spiritually to leave. He won't even know what he's doing. He'll probably leave and leave all his things behind in Africa. You know, when that juju goes through, he will leave all his stuff in Africa. He won't even know where he's at, because now he's playing with fire. So he will leave Africa. I will do everything, you know, even if I have to give up Christianity to go see the gods just to get him out of there, I will. And I'll pray to God to forgive me, because this has to be done. O'Shea Duke Jackson will be removed from Africa, most likely spiritually. After he gets that visit, he'll wake up one day and say, "This is too much, I gotta go." And that I want to show him the power that he's messing with, because we've done this nicely. Enough of the trolls, enough of the multiple videos. I don't have energy to be doing hundreds and hundreds of videos about this idiot. I just want to introduce him to African power, so that when he comes back home to Sacramento, he can tell a story of why not to go to Africa and mess with the people of Africa. If you're going to go there, you have to behave yourself. But if you don't behave yourself, we will use every power in our toolbox to teach you a lesson. And that lesson is going to happen. Like I said, I will pay top dollar to the strongest juju man in Ghana or in Tanzania, or because I know East Africa, they got something too, to show this guy something small power. Nothing harmful, but small power for him to shake his head and say, man, I gotta go. I gotta go. That's where we're heading with this. So all these idiots that are walking around Africa thinking that they can do their diaspora wars from ground and they can be talking all the bullshit. There's that dude that is sitting in South Africa trying to put himself into this. If I need to slaughter 100 cows to get you guys to see things you're not supposed to see, I would do it. I swear on my father, I would do it. Unless these powers don't exist. But if it's out there, I will find it. And you will leave. So O'Shea, you will leave. So talk all, you got enough time to talk all the shit you can talk. You know, and luckily I got my Ghana passport 2 days ago. I finally got my Ghana passport renewed, which means I'll be going on a trip home. And in my suitcase, there will be a picture of O'Shea Duke Jackson. And in my village, every traditional leader will have something to say about this. Because that is the only way we teach these idiots something. We got to show them power. We got to show them power. You know, we're not condoning any violence. We're just trying to show them why they should respect the land. So if they're denigrating the land, if they're disrespecting the land, then the powers of the land will deal with them. But it'll be appropriate, it'll be proportional. Enough to let them know they need to leave. You know, enough to let them know they need to leave. You know, like we say in Ghana, sometimes you start questioning why every 5 minutes you have to go to the toilet. And then you go to the hospital and they don't know why there's no diarrhea, your stomach is fine, everything is fine. As soon as you leave the hospital, you have to go to the bathroom again. You know, I excuse my French, but if you start shitting every 5 minutes, even when you haven't eaten for days and you keep shitting every 3 minutes, every 5 minutes, eventually you know that you need to leave. Okay? So that's how we're going to get him out of there. Because I don't think he's ever going to leave. If we do it the nice way, he's never going to leave. So we have to involve some spirituality here. That's the only way we can do it. Now, once we get O'Shea out of Africa and he comes to the US, he can make 1,000 videos about Africans and we don't care. When it comes to the US, we'll be doing it on the internet. It'll just be battle for battle on the internet. But I think that lesson he will learn from Africa will be so strong that even when he comes back to the US, he wouldn't want to say anything to the Africans. We have to start involving African spirituality into this fight. This is what I'm driving home now. We need to involve African spirituality into this fight. These men and women have become enemies of Africa and Africans. They disrespected their ancestors that went through all this trauma to get over here. But fine, we give them that. You've delineated. And now, the descendants of those people on the other side of the Atlantic, they don't have any good things to say about them. They are making your lives hell here. And whenever they travel to us, they are still making our lives hell. And they think there is no price to pay. And I'm saying bullshit to that. So if you're listening to me and you're a traditional believer, you're a Muslim, you're a Christian, whatever spiritual component that is like whatever you believe in, say a prayer. Because this is good prayer if we get rid of people like this from the continent. Because he is so dangerous that a lot of people don't understand. They take this as a joke because they're just trying to monetize off of it. But they're creating so much evil and hate that eventually our children and our children's children are going to suffer from the hands of these bullies. So we need to invoke African spirituality in this fight. We have to fight them like real enemies, not some internet back and forth banter, not some talking nicely back and forth and talking about hairlines. Ignore that. That's noise. That's for little people. That's noise. That's for little people. We need to start invoking strong African spirituality from Igbo land, from West Africa, the strongest of the strongest, from Sierra Leone, from Liberia. I know they got some good stuff in Liberia too. From Central Ghana, where they got some real strong ones. It doesn't cost that much, $20, $30. And let them send these curses up. Let them send it. Some of these are multi-generational. Because this is a fight. This is real war. The diaspora war is not some internet crap. These guys are putting people in jail. They are setting people up. They are causing people's businesses so they can't even buy and sell product. Very soon they'll probably start shooting people. They are always threatening people. So you need to take this as seriously as they've been taking it. Even if they are not taking it seriously, that's their own problem. We are going to take it seriously. We need to invoke some spirituality in this fight.
Nobody. You're choosing to. So therefore, if you're choosing to, and you're logical and rational enough to choose so, when the comeback comes, don't be a bitch about it. Because we're going on that road now. We are going down that road. I'm telling you. Right now, in about 5 or 6 years from now, things are not going to be the same. Things are not going to be the same. There's going to be a distinct line. It's either you are pro or anti. That's it. That's it. That's where it's going. I'm telling you, that's exactly where it's going. And I'm telling you, you're going to find a lot of people spinning the block, realizing how stupid and immature that they've been. They're going to try and spin the block and come back on some brothers and sisters.
No.
Because this is what they do. This is what these anti-Africans are known for doing. They go through these weird cycles where 1 minute they're like, oh yeah, let's try and get together. When one of their kids gets killed by a police officer, or one of their husbands or boyfriends gets shot by a police officer and they're innocent, and all of a sudden it's, yeah, us.
Yep, same things we've been talking about. There is no us. They are not your brothers. They are not your sisters. When they get into trouble and they turn around and say, oh, us, no. Those days are gone. Those days are over. They are not. Like I said, I find more comfort around Indians, white people, all groups, but them. And I've proven that you can survive and live in America and excel even much better if you disassociate from them. So therefore, you have to ask yourself these questions. What do you need from these people? If you itemize the things you need to live, housing, your car, mechanic, your school, teachers for your children, your grocery stores, which has been mechanized now to where you don't, electronic now to where you don't even need people, you can self-checkout. You don't need these people. They are not so productive and widespread in the most critical areas of our lives for you to need them. They are not doctors. They are not nurses. They are not engineers. They are not pilots. I mean, the most functional jobs and professions in the world, you find little pockets of them. And if you dig deeper, sometimes it's Caribbean people. They may have a parent from the Caribbean, but it won't just be distinctively the group that Tariq is talking about. Those 100% that Tariq is talking about, a lot of them are just in jails. A lot of them are really busy committing crimes. So you really don't need this group. You can be completely isolated from them in terms of where you live, where you do business, how you do business. Don't go open a store that attracts them because they'll end up shooting you anyway. So there is really nothing. It was always beneficial for them to align with us because we are those things that I just mentioned and they are not. So it would have always been beneficial for them. But now that we are, have our own little pockets and little communities, and we have allies and friends because we are not boycotting Latinos, we have no issues with the Indians and Southeast Asians, we have no issues with white people. We have very good relationships with white people and Caucasians. That puts us in a very good position to completely not need these people, which means that it reduces the potential for you to be insulted. And all they can do is just sit on the internet and do some bullshit. That's it. But in real life, they offer us no value. This is why they always talk about historical events, our ancestors, and all this bullshit. But in real, I mean, talking about we sacrifice, but then they can't even sacrifice for their own children. These are people that are nothing. They've done nothing and they are nothing. So it's not in your interest. It doesn't help to even be around them. It's very much a loss for you to even consider that. You just be doing them a favor. So why do a favor that can end up hurting you long term, can injure you, can hurt you, can affect your children? If your children play with their children, we did a GXC, gene environmental interactions. You're going to be dealing with peer pressure, which can make your child, the immigrant child, turn into a criminal because of that environmental factor. So you have to always keep at the back of your mind those environmental factors that I listed, because we all have that impulsive gene. So isolating yourself from these people will help you and your offspring not build these genes that produces criminal activity. So it's in our best interest to completely isolate. Tariq Nasheed did us a solid. We just didn't know yet. Now we know. Right? Now that we're breaking this down at a much deeper level, this is actually in our favor. Because then you won't have people tell you that you stink. You won't have people tell you to put on deodorants. You won't have people say that you drink poop water. Because we heard it go on my channel, on my old videos. There's a Black American lady saying that Africans drink poop water and saying it boldly on TikTok. So this is real. Don't let these Pan-Africans in the middle try to bullshit you. Those people are with the tribe. We already exposed them. Look at what Afro Think Tank has been doing. Emotional, all over the place like them. Same characteristics. Which is really not African. If they come into African societies, apart from dollars that they are bringing, what morality or other benefits are we going to get from them? Nothing. We are not going to gain any insights or any growth by associating with them. Let them stay here where they become a forever minority, where every other minority group is separating from them and advancing their own causes. And now they don't even have voting power. Don't vote with them. If they're all voting this way, vote the other way. Because here's the thing. If you do the things right in this country, you're going to be immune from politics. As long as the free market holds, you get your education, you get the right careers, and you're dominant in your field, you're going to hedge yourself against layoffs, and you're going to not need the government in your business. You're not going to worry about policy. So these policies are designed for vulnerable people, which is usually them. So for us, we are at liberty to destroy our vote. We can vote for whatever. So every election cycle, we'll listen to the news, we'll see where they are voting. Then a Black immigrant group, even if it's 5 million people, that's enough to sway an election. You keep them suppressed. That's what you're supposed to do. You keep them suppressed because they don't get along with anybody. So they can't go make deals with anybody. They're not going to go make deals with Caucasians. They're not going to make deals or a pact with Hispanics. Hispanics used to champion their cause for 30 years. And then they saw through the bullshit and said, no, these guys are full of shit. We're not going to deal with them because they are forever complainers. They don't believe in merit and meritocracy. They're always dependent on government and subsidies and government programs. And they are not free, independent thinkers. And they don't believe in the ability to move up by themselves without invoking some equitable programs that is forced down our throats, even if they are not qualified for the jobs. So the Hispanics saw through that. They were like, how come we're the only one on roofs, putting up roofs, building houses, doing all the construction work, doing all the road work, and yet there's 51 million of these people and you can't even find a single Black construction crew. Good luck even finding a plumber that is Black nowadays. They're not doing much. They're just on the internet watching Tariq. Tariq can have 20,000 people, 30,000 people live on his TikTok. At every hour of the day, whenever he turns it on, there's that many people. And willing to be on panels, which means it's not like, for us, we turn it in the evening when you're off of work. But for the most part, those guys, they can be streaming during the day. And their panels are full. So this is what the next frontier is going to be. First of all, we start with separation, where it's widespread and all our friends from Ethiopia all the way down. We're going to leave the South Africans out, right? There's not very many of them and they don't really travel. But we'll stop at Zimbabwe, right? From Ethiopia down to Zimbabwe. And then we'll move west. If all these friends who have become Americans stay the course, like what we are discussing on my platform, stay this course, eventually we're going to get somewhere. I strongly believe it. We're going to get somewhere because the media is a very powerful tool. When I have 2,000 eyes watching my video, new viewers watching my videos every day, that's a lot of eyes that are seeing this stuff. And they are learning, and they are seeing it, and they are learning. And there are people in Africa that are seeing, those will be what I call my hostile squad. The guys that are going to be protecting us in Africa so that this evil culture doesn't penetrate our societies. This culture of killing 2-year-olds and 4-year-olds and, slaughtering people because you're angry for no reason, You saw a little bit of that in Afro Think Tank, wishing death on me because he disagrees. And you mean to tell me this guy is African? Of course he's not African. He looks more Asian than even African. He looks Asian, white, with 5% black. Yet he thinks he's African. He's challenging me on whether I know he's African or not. Of course I know my people. You're not my people. And it's okay to tell them that. In the past, we were very nice. We didn't say it. But it's okay to let them know that they are not our people. Return the same energy. It's that simple. It says, I was sitting at work one night and happened to look over at our flawless list of doctors or providers. It finally dawned on me that the hate and fear mongering about migrants was, what the hate and fear mongering about migrants was all about. That is very true. Nigerians, Jamaicans, the guys from St. Lucia, Trinidad, these people are dominating the health services right now. Doctors, a girl I went to school with in Tennessee, big doctor, I think the hospital is Vanderbilt in Nashville, big doctor, big time. One of my homeboys, Simon from Nigeria that I went to undergrad with, is a big time doctor in Miami, killing it, man. These guys are killing it. So it makes sense. I went to visit a Black American friend of mine that got into an accident. Surprise, right? I had a Black American kid that I mentored. He was a kid that I mentored for many years. Doing well, but he got into a car accident when he moved to Atlanta from Mississippi. And when I went to visit him, I flew all the way to Grady's to visit him in Atlanta, downtown there. When I went there to visit him, almost big hospital, most of the nurses I came across were from Nigeria and from West Africa. So I see the numbers. I know what my people are doing in America. And it's understandable that we've become their target. But like I said, these people don't have political power. They only have violence power. They don't have political power. So there's not much they can do but chop it up on the internet. Eventually, like with the gender wars, like how they treated their women, they are going to fade off. And they'll have to be forced to marry their own women. The same women that they were talking crap about, they'll have to go back and deal with that. Or these same FBA boys would want to get passports and travel to Thailand. And what we are doing is a two-front attack. We are setting the stage at home so that when they go over there, we don't make that process comfortable. We want to box them right in, keep them right here in America. Okay? Keep them right here. And that's how it's going to happen. Eventually, they'll figure it out that they messed with the wrong people. Yeah. And South Africa's situation is worse because they are a majority and it's very lawless. So the government is handicapped. This is why you don't want the blacks to be majority in America. If the blacks become majority in America, they'll be walking around people's homes with guns, taking immigrants out. That's what they would do. It's the same dynamics, same systems. A white man develops the country for them. Then they feel superior. They take it over because they have jobs and activity that has been created by white people. And then they start to hate on other people that come in there that were not from there. That's the same group that we have here. The only difference between the blacks here and the blacks in South Africa, same trauma, same dynamics. Because the South Africans were dominated all the way to the 90s. So they see a whole lot of shit. These guys were enslaved. And, not like the Caribbean where they had some homogeneity and independence and they built together and they restored a lot of their culture is very much restored in the Caribbean, right? That's why we can get easily along with people on the Caribbean, in the Caribbean. They're just like us. But these people didn't have that opportunity. So they've grown in the shadows of white people, but they are not as talented as the whites, right? So they are confused. They're like confused white people. They are white people that are confused with a dark skin. That is the problem. So these guys would do exactly what the blacks in South Africa would do if they become a majority, And luckily, they will never become a majority because one, the Hispanics have already surpassed them. So they'll have to figure out that. Two, they don't have the right family combinations to make that happen. And then thirdly, their women are not going to cooperate and the men are not ready. The men are not ready is a much bigger issue than the women not cooperating. The women are not cooperating because the men are not ready. These men are useless. Most of these black boys are very useless, man. I tell you what, useless. We just did Future. You guys saw that. So these dynamics don't help them. Then their incomes, crime rates, they kill themselves, and their jail population, which is a lot of them, takes away their rights to vote. Once you go to jail, it reduces their ability for them to grow exponentially into a cohesive society to dominate. So all these things are stuck against them, which is why we will never have that problem here because there will never be a majority with all the stuff that goes on with them. Okay, even if birth rates are low in white America, they still will never be a majority. Jedi is saying, that'd be nice. They are going to be making so many videos about you come tomorrow. Black Americans aren't bad. FBAs are just the worst. Yeah. No, it's not everybody. Like I said, I have some friends that are okay, but it's the Tariq group. I use it interchangeably, but I think you know what I mean, right? It's not everybody.
When some injustice happens and it's clear that they don't respect black Americans, they don't respect FBAs, all that stuff you're talking about, you built this and you built that, and then they show you built what? What'd you say, boy? You built that, boy? You crazy, boy? You built what, boy? We used you to build it. What you mean you built it? What, you did it for us? Well, thank you very much. Because we the ones that's benefiting from it, boy. You ain't benefiting from here. You get what we gives you, boy. And don't you forget that, boy. Matter of fact, let me do something to get on the public platform. Let me get on the news outlets by doing something crazy to a black bastard. And all of a sudden it's like, look, injustice. Where were you Africans? Where were you? You weren't there to help us. You forgetting you kind of pushed us away? You forgetting you kind of said stuff that made us feel like maybe this isn't our fight? You forgetting that? Are you forgetting that? And this is what they're doing every single time. This is what they're doing every single time. Even Godfrey has been defending black Americans. Which,
if Godfrey was listening to me, this wouldn't have happened, right? Now, what are they doing? O'Shea just made another video about him today, right? Called him a fraud. This is somebody that has been in their corner. So what Nana is saying is not a lie. What is happening to Godfrey can never happen to me because I don't take from them. I don't hang with them. I don't talk to them. I stay the fuck away from them. So it cannot happen to me. And I'm building this without them. So it just cannot happen to me. And this is why these people need to learn. I mean, Flacco is struggling. They're hitting him. But I think he has a bit of gang support. So he's still, and his content is really that good. His content is good. So even if they don't like him, they still have to watch it. Because, man, the thumbnails are good. The content is good. The quality is good. Even the ones that are not scripted, they are still very good. So because the product is good, even with the hits he's taken, I think he's going to survive. I don't know much about how Godfrey is as far as on the platform side, but Flacco seems like he'll be all right. And then he still got No Jumper on the side with him. So as long as he's got No Jumper, I think he's got some cover. He's got enough cover to survive that. But Godfrey should be a lesson to all black immigrants to not openly associate. You have to be very careful. You have to be very selective. If you have to mingle, you have to be very, very selective because like I said, it's not everybody, but it's a lot for you to worry. And if you don't get worried, the analogy of a snake, you just don't know when they're going to bite you. And when they do, and it's venomous, you will not make it.
He should, because there's a lot that they've done which cannot be taken away. And look how they're treating him. Look how they're treating him. He did not say the things that people said that they're upset with. It merely was his platform. He did not contribute towards that. And look how they're treating him, which means they were just looking for his downfall. They were just looking for one mistake because deep down they do not like Africans. They don't like us. They hate us. They despise us. I'm telling you, they've got nothing but venom in their hearts for us. Any little opportunity they want, they're going to take it. Go on TikTok, go on social media, see the things that they're saying. And that Tariq Nasheed, the imageries that he puts out there of Africans, some caricatures, some negative, ancient, stereotypical, anti-African caricatures that he puts out there. No different from their former slave masters. No different from what was done to them just less than 100 years ago. We built this. But yet, please, equal rights, please let us in. Forget our schools, we want to come to your schools. Forget our shops, we want to come and shop at your shops. Forget our diners, we want to come and eat in your diners. Please, you can have our music rights. You can have it. Just give us record deals, please. But yet you built the place. And everything that you've got, you've had to beg your way in. Whether you worked hard when you got in there or not, you had to beg your way in. Because you knew the larger majority, aka the whites, were the ones who really had it popping.
Yeah, that's not debatable. Pre-64, they're always going to cite the Tulsa event, but it's really not. I'm going to do a real video on Tulsa and what happened, right? Because it's one of their big lies too, right? The Tulsa thing is a lie. But even if Tulsa was true, that's just one little strip, in a small state that had a small group of black people. Oklahoma doesn't have a whole lot of black people. I go there all the time. It's right here. It's probably like 2 hours, an hour away from me from the state line. So, Tulsa wasn't popping like that. Outside of that, those talk about small little neighborhoods that they were talking about. But if you look at, I have historical videos of these people from the 50s all the way down. All the marching and all the rights they're talking about was for the white folks to partition a little bit for them. Nothing was built from the ground up. It was just same dynamics with South Africa. Them Africans were not going to build anything. That South Africa is different from the rest of Africa in terms of infrastructure because of the whites. The white minority built South Africa. Same with here. Same dynamics, okay? The white folks built it. They get a little bit of, these guys were not really heavy participants. But then when their side wasn't popping, their schools are no good. To this very day, their schools are no good. HBCUs still graduate the least. I think I had the statistics. I didn't bring it today, but I think I will insert it in one of my videos. But they have the lowest graduation rates of all universities as a collective in the U.S. The only exception is Spelman. Most of their HBCUs are junk. They don't turn out good talent. So even the same HBCUs and all these other institutions, they're always running at the deficit. They've never been able to run efficiently. They haven't trained a whole lot of people to do anything. I bet you there are more black immigrants going to HBCUs now than themselves just because of their unwillingness to go to school. Because obviously there's enough capacity. But why do they have such low graduation rates? Very, very low. I think it's like the 40%-ish graduation rates in HBCUs. So they're not even graduating. They're not going. They're not enrolling as much. And when they enroll, they are not graduating. I mean, a lot of these people are not doing much. So this is just a fight for crumbs. But if you look at real data right now, the black immigrant class And the Asians are the ones that are carrying the weight. They're only the ones that are doing pretty much a lot. And of course, white folks have always been up at the top with them. These guys have been left behind. The Hispanics have left them down there. So this anger comes from just the amount of defeat that they've had to endure in their faces over the last 30 years. They've seen all these groups come here and just dominate them. And I understand them. That must suck, right? But what are you going to do about it? Are you going to cry on the internet, or are you going to go walk over to your community college tomorrow and enroll? The choice is individual. It requires some guidance, but they don't even allow themselves to be guided. The fathers are not at home to guide. So all these guys are just trying to figure it out. And it's a mess, man. It's a mess. Don't get tangled up in their bullshit. You're better off separating yourself. That's what I keep saying. Separate yourself from their bullshit.
So therefore you said, please, come on, man. Don't treat me bad. Let me in, man. Come on, man. And now you've got comfortable because you've been let into a certain part where there's a glass ceiling. You can't even see that glass ceiling. You know they say all the time, it's only so much that they can go there. Because you've been let into a certain extent, now you're comfortable. Let's attack them Africans. Yeah, let's get on them. They're trying to come to the greatest country alive. We built this and they're trying to come here and they're taking our jobs and they think they're better actors than us and blah, 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 blah. The lines are no longer blurred, man. It's clear. That line is clear. I can't believe it. I don't know if you've seen that clip where he was on some kind of interview. It was him and Dame Dash. They were being interviewed by some white guy. I don't know what show it was. And they asked them something and they just start acting very mature and laughing and giggling. They're going, oh, you mad.
Listen, you're looking at a guy who teaches inner city kids and who's telling you face to face that he has problems with kids based upon a rap music, and you're rationalizing it all up and down.
We don't promote positive and ownership of your company. I'm making it cool to be smart.
All right,
I'm making it cool. Wait, let me start. It's not negative to be a businessman. It's not negative to take care of the economy around you.
It's negative to make money, Mr. Dash, if you hurt children.
How do you hurt children by promoting to be an entrepreneur and a CEO and to do right by?
I'm looking at a principle.
For example.
Yeah, hold it. You're looking at a principle.
Why you don't want to let him talk? You mad? Where'd you start? Current affair, right?
No, wrong.
Well, I got dirt on you, doggy.
Cameron,
I'm going to get at you in a minute.
You go ahead. You get at
I'm going to get at you in a minute.